set.
June 18th, 2025.
All right, I have 6:30. We will call this meeting to order. Madam Clerk, Mr. Louie, we're going to call roll. Will we be doing this electronically? We are. So in front of you on your screens, there is a button you can press present. We're going to restart that though. So Mr. Louie, if you could reset that, please. You can press present if you would, please. And it looks like we have one absent board member tonight. Everyone else is present. With that, Mr. Whalen, will you lead us in prayer? Ms. Williams, will you lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance?
Lord God Almighty, thank you for the opportunity to come before you once again to serve the people of this county. I pray you help us do it with grace, with understanding, with integrity, purpose, with truth, Lord, and with always the thought that you are watching over us, and we will have you account one day for the things that we do and the decisions that we make. So I thank you for this time, thank you for this opportunity, and pray that we use it wisely. In Jesus' name.
Amen.
I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Can I please get an approval from, well, before I ask for that approval, is there any board member that would like to remove any item or items from the consent agenda?
Did we have to do approval of the agenda?
I'm sorry, I did forget that. Thank you, Mr. Hadley. Is there a motion to approve the agenda?
So moved.
By Mr. Didden, second by Mrs. Hayes. Any discussion on the agenda? Seeing none, Mr. Louie, if you could initiate the vote. Passes unanimously for the agenda. Now we'll move on to the consent agenda. Is there any board member that would like to remove any item or items from the consent agenda? Let me get your microphone, Mr. Hadley. Go ahead.
Yes, could we remove C, D, and E, please? Thank you.
C, D, and E?
Yes.
Very good. Anyone else? Is there a motion to approve A and B? By Mr. Whalen. Is there a second? By Mr. Jogers. Is there any discussion on A and B? Seeing none, Mr. Louie, if you would please prepare the vote. A and B pass unanimously. Mr. Hadley, would you press your bar to speak, and I'll turn on your microphone? Go ahead.
Yes, could we have Dale come up, please?
Yes. Thank you, Dale.
Good evening.
Good evening, Dale. On HD 2514, on the seal coating for Lamb Road and Rock Grove Road, this $154,026.72, are we getting reimbursed by the state of Illinois for this, if I'm reading this right?
Correct, yes. It's 90/10, so we'll get reimbursed for 90% of the cost.
For 90% of the cost then,
Correct.
on the 154. How much of from Lamb Road, from where to where, and how many miles on Lamb Road?
It goes from Route 26 over to Baileyville Road, about 2 miles.
About 2 miles. How about Rock Grove Road?
Rock Grove Road, I think, I couldn't tell you offhand. It's
Okay.
maybe 4 or 5 miles.
Okay, thank you. Then on HD 2515, on the guardrails here, it looks like we're requesting grant money for 240,000
Which one, what was that again?
for the, let's see here, for the guardrails crossing.
Oh, no, that's something totally different. Okay. We received a grant from the Federal Railroad Administration for at-grade rail crossing elimination grant. It's to look at the 26 crossings in the county to assess them, see what we can do to improve them or eliminate them.
So we did receive this
We
money
received
then?
the grant, yes. We're in the process right now of working through the grant agreement and a notice of a request for qualifications for a consultant to do the planning project for it. It's a planning grant.
And I take it that it's a 20% match then?
Correct.
Okay, then. On to HD 2516. I looked on the work committee, and I couldn't find that, and I couldn't find. Could you explain what that's all about? There was no paperwork on it.
That was for it's a notice of funding opportunity for local projects. It was one of those that came and went pretty quickly, but that's for 100% funding. So there's no cost to the county for any of the work. It goes out to all local public agencies in the state. I submitted for 13 different projects in the county.
And then do we have a good chance to get it for all 13, or
No.
is it?
There's like $400 million in the program.
Okay.
And the early on when they talked about it, they expect, I'm expecting there will be thousands of submittals for this.
Okay.
So it'll come down to readiness. So we've got Dakota Road. We just finished up plans for that, for 6 miles of Dakota Road. Finished up the plans for the rest of Cityville Road. So we're ready to go. Just a matter of how much we can get funding for.
Okay, thank you very much. That's all,
Sure.
Chairman.
May I please get an approval for C, D, and E?
Okay.
Motion made by Mr. Brandt, second by Mr. Jogerst. Any further discussion on C, D, or E? Seeing none, Mr. Louie, please initiate the vote. C, D, and E passes unanimously. We will move on to public comment. Is there anyone that would like to speak at public comment? If so, please come to the podium. You will be given 3 minutes. As soon as you state your name, the clock will start, and it will actually be illuminated on the lower left-hand corner of the TV screen. If you can just wait for a minute, Mr. Kluge, until we reset the clock.
Thank you, sir.
Are you able to do that, Nate? It's counting down at 2 minutes.
All right.
Mr.
Christopher-
Kluge, hang on one second. I
Oh,
want to make
sorry.
sure you get all 3 minutes.
Okay, appreciate that.
All right, go ahead.
Thank you. Christopher Kluge, 128 North Bailey in Freeport. Imagine something with me. Imagine you're an Uber driver, and you are not getting as much revenue from driving Uber as you would like, and you have some repairs to your vehicle that are coming up that concern you. They're going to cost a lot of money. So you decide to get out of the Uber business and sell the vehicle. And you go and you meet with a buyer who's very interested. And that buyer says, I have a great deal for you. Here's what I want to do. You give me your car. Then give me your last 2 checks with the money you still have coming from Uber. Oh, and one last thing that puts the cherry on top. I need you to keep making payments on this car for me. Anyone here want to take that deal? I'm afraid that's a deal you're being offered tonight. You've all received this handy little visual aid. And note where the arrows are going. If you sell under this current proposal without investigating it or negotiating it further, what you are going to do is you are going to transfer your facility, its business operations, and its accounts receivable to Serenity Estates, and you get to keep all the lovely outstanding bills. I don't think that's a good deal for the county. I don't think there's any situation out in the nursing home that would justify that kind of deal. And I will also point out, I did email you all. I did receive an email back from a county board member who said that the facility had trouble making its payroll earlier this year. And that is an extremely serious concern. I just want to point out that under the previous billing company, you did not have that problem. The problem is not the facility. It's who you have currently managing it. And if you work on that, I don't think you'll have to consider a sale. Please vote against this or postpone it so you can investigate further. And thank you for your time. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
You're welcome. And just one point of clarification, there is no vote to sell tonight. It's merely to enter into a non-binding letter of intent. Anyone else? And if you can just give us a second to reset the clock. Go ahead.
All right. Good evening, everybody. My name is Gary Gordon. I live at 631 Country Court, Freeport, Illinois. I've lived there for about 25 years, and I've lived in Freeport for 40 years. I have and will continue to have significant concerns regarding the sale of the Stephenson County Nursing Center, our nursing center, Stephenson County. By referendum years ago, the residents at the time, I believe it was 1969 or 1970, sought approval and voted in favor of construction of a new county home. I wasn't around then, and I certainly didn't vote either way, but I still support it. I'm not an attorney, though I had many, many years working as a litigation management individual. I do know that if you have one opinion from an attorney and a contrary opinion from another attorney, the only way to resolve situations like that is with a lawsuit. So we're looking at a lawsuit regarding whether this board is even legally able to attempt to sell the property. I have an opinion why this board doesn't want a public referendum, be it hubris or possibly just the fear that the board might not be able to generate enough votes to allow a sale to go through because they can't fully support this position. As elected members serving the community as a whole, shouldn't you be interested in knowing what this community really wants? Or are you assuming that since you were elected, all your decisions are therefore justified? Did every single voter that voted for you desire the sale? How do you know? A referendum answers that question because it would be a singular issue. It does two things. It answers the question, and it also avoids a costly lawsuit. With an aging community with a significant percentage of people over 65 and or disabled individuals, the needs for long-term care continue to grow. Unfortunately, prohibitive costs and resources that may be inadequate as a growing number of the population will rely on places like the Stephenson County Nursing Center. It's a difficult task, I know you have, but your job isn't supposed to be easy. Every person in this community counts. Every person in this community pays for services sometimes that they will never use. But because we're a community, everyone eventually benefits somewhere. We can't just ignore those in need. We need to consider everyone. In addition, one of the likely groups that you're selecting to sell to does not appear to have a stellar record. I understand there was a bid by TCM, and I'm not understanding why they're not being considered. Either way, I don't believe we can legally sell the property, and that issue should be clarified before proceeding any further. And then I guess the last thing I would say is that, do you really want your legacy to be that you're on the side of selling this property that's essential to a number of this community? Thank you.
Thank you very much. Anyone else? Give us just 1 second. There we go. Go ahead.
My name is Cody Dornis. I'm a staff representative with ASME Council 31. I represent the workers of Local 2399 out of Stephenson County Nursing Home. I'll start out with saying we're against the privatization of the home. Nothing we've seen, heard, or experienced tells us that selling the nursing home is good for the residents, the community, or the workers. I'll go ahead and skip forward here a little bit and share some of our research about this letter of intent or possible sale or whatever we're calling it tonight. Serenity Estates claims extensive background and turnaround operation and regulatory compliance, but both their homes are below average ratings. One's flagged for abuse. Is this the direction our county wants to go? Serenity Estates appears to have ties to real estate and private equity firms. Nursing homes with these ties tend to have worse quality care and patient outcomes. Can this community be guaranteed that profits will not come over care? In Champaign County, they recently sold their home despite warnings from our union, and now they no longer have a home. Lake County sold to a buyer with real estate and private equity ties, and now they're in trouble. DeKalb County backed out last minute, causing DeKalb County to have to sue their buyers to recoup some of the money spent in their endeavors. Serenity Estates in Lincolnshire, 1-star rated according to Medicare.gov and cited for abuse. Serenity Estates of Morris is also a 1-star rated home. We're against privatization. We're against a fire sale of a community safety net. We're for the residents, we're for the community, and we're for the workers. Stephenson County Nursing Center was built by the people, for the people, and it should stay that way. Thank you.
Anyone else? Nate, is it possible to make the screen in the lower right fill up the entire screen? And give us just 1 sec. Okay, go ahead. Thank you.
My name is, excuse me, my name is Mary Blake. I live at 848 West Stephenson Street. The County Poor Farm was established in 1854 to care for those in need. The county-wide referendum was passed in 1970 to build the current home. Stephenson County residents have consistently shown a desire to help those who are in need. We still have those who need our help. Some say the nursing home is losing money. All county services lose money. Health department, highway department, clerk's office, sheriff's department, jail, etc. They cost taxpayers money. However, we recognize the need to provide these services. Walnut Acres is another service we need to continue to provide. Given the opportunity, Winnebago County residents voted to support their nursing home with a specific property tax. If it required a county-wide referendum to build this home, it should require a county-wide referendum to sell it. Let the people decide, let the people vote.
Thank you. Anyone else?
You all know me.
Mr. Klein, please wait.
Wait a
Go
minute
ahead.
here.
Go ahead.
Are you ready? Ed Klein, I live over on Lily Creek Road. I've seen you all before. What I've handed out was actually that was created in 23, the last time this was trying to be sold, it was originally the Stephenson Nursing Center Foundation. They were strictly created to fund projects at the nursing center. They pulled out because they found that the nursing center kept trying to be sold. The reason it's pertinent today is they own both the solar field and the generator that's out there. So that has got to be addressed in some way at some point. I know you have heard terrible numbers being circulated about how much money we are in the red every month. I'm not denying that there's a problem. I would just like to point out that this started when our management company, TCM, was fired and you hired just a billing company. I am asking that we have a town hall and really dig into what TCM has proposed for the future and anything else that concerns the public about Walnut Acres. The finances are certainly complicated, but we all could stand to learn something about them. The last issue I want to address is the board's lack of having a referendum. I really missed this part until yesterday, but erected is actually used 3 times in the first paragraph of the state statute concerning public homes. Erect and maintain the home, erection of buildings, erection or maintenance of the home. The Supreme Court in 2019 said their reasoning was plain and obvious meaning of the language used by the legislature is the safest guide to follow in construing any act. Our state's attorney has taken the word erected and decided it doesn't really mean what we know it means, which is constructed that building, and he has said it's got something to do with creating the whole nursing center itself, the license for it. That is frankly ridiculous. We have a fund created that will fund our lawsuit. As soon as this board actually votes to sell it, then the lawsuit gets filed. I don't know why we want to waste a whole lot of your money, the taxpayers' money, my money, on something that should be cut and dried. This referendum should have taken place last November. I don't know why it didn't. Thank you.
Anyone else? Give us just 1 second. Nate, can you put the clock back up? Thank you very much. Go ahead, ma'am.
I'm Allison Broman-Kahn. I actually live 15 miles away across the county line, just outside of Pecatonica. But I've been aware of this issue and this problem and all the attention that the public has focused on it, the public versus the county board, which seems to have skimmed over a lot of very important facts. I'm a retired registered nurse. As a registered nurse and previously as a nursing assistant, I worked in a number of nursing homes, some excellent, some really bad. I worked at a really nice one in Rockford that had to be sold. As soon as it was sold to a for-profit company, its ability to care for its residents plummeted. All the evidence points to the possibility of that happening with Walnut Acres. The sale of Walnut Acres is ill-advised. The general public, concerned citizens of Stephenson County and neighboring areas have done a lot of research, a lot more research than what elected officials have done. So I suggest that elected officials listen and pay very close attention to what the public has provided you with. So I'm going to read at least part of a statement that Casey Anthony, the former chair of the Nursing Home Committee and a former member, distinguished member of the county board, wrote to county board members. The debate on the nursing home sale should occur with or without referendum, I believe should still be considered. I attempted to get a referendum to the public when I was on the board, but unfortunately it did not pass. I just want to highlight the state statute so you can see where a significant amount of people believe a referendum is needed. This is pulled directly from the state website, and county board members, you can refer to the correspondence that she sent you. So this deals with what Ed Klein just talked about, that the erection of the nursing home requires that there be a referendum. This is very long. It shall not be sold or disposed of except after referendum approval by a majority of the voters of the county voting thereon. In the 1960s, a referendum was passed by the voters to build or erect the current building. To me, Casey Anthony, the state statute says if a referendum was passed to build the actual building, then the referendum would be needed to sell the building. 2, the former Stephenson Nursing Center Foundation owns...
I'm afraid your
Done.
3 minutes are up.
Okay, so all of you can read what Casey Anthony sent you.
Thank you. Anyone else? You're all set. You have 3 minutes.
Most of you know, my name's Jody Koss. I live out on Lily Creek Road. I've been here a little over 20 years. Most of you already know where I stand. A vote to sell or a vote to vote on a letter of intent to sell tonight, to me, is a firm no. We simply don't have enough information about the buyer. If our public nursing home can't survive even with an extra $80 per day for our Medicaid beds, how in the world will a private company succeed with approximately $100,000 a month less income? Losing state funding only available to public homes. If the county board claims it's done everything it can to help Walnut Acres succeed, what magical solution does Serenity Estates have in this emergency? Under TCM, we were in the black for over 2 years. I know people contest that, but we certainly didn't have any payroll crises. Now, just a few months under Matrix, we're nearly unable to pay our staff. That's not coincidence. Matrix appears to be underbilling by about $450,000 per the last 5 months, if you compare the last 5 months of TCM to our 5 months now with Matrix. Under TCM made a real offer. Well, it was a 7-year contract, and that's not legally possible. They only allow a 4-year contract to be made. What's the worst case scenario if they fail and we have to reassess? But what if they can succeed? Selling without a referendum invites a lawsuit. The law clearly says erected means physically built. That fits Walnut Acres. Trying to bypass that is a legal risk the county shouldn't take. Chairman Helms said even at a full census, the home can't make it. That's not just a defeatist statement. That shows that he doesn't want to work to make this happen. Our population is aging. Most residents can't afford long-term care without Medicaid. If we sell Walnut Acres and it becomes private, the local Medicaid beds shrink. Families are going to be forced to place their loved ones many, many, many miles away from home. That's not speculation, that's just what happens when you are out of your funds and your family cannot take you into their home and care for you. Please vote no tonight, and at the very least, vote to defer. This decision needs more time, more answers, more respect for the people it affects the most. In the end, people, not profit, are what matters.
Your 3 minutes are up.
We cannot, the people in the back, these little monitors, you have no idea what is up there. So hopefully it's better on YouTube.
Thank you. Anyone else for public comment? Go ahead. You're ready to go.
Rivers. I'm not gonna override or try to do anything against what you folks with the nursing home have to say. So what I'm gonna do is I will email all you council members. Please read what I have to say. It's all accurate, honest. I do not have integrity issues. I can tell you I've done some FOIAs and I have found more. issues within the zoning board. And when the zoning board of appeals chairperson's husband comes to my house to harass me the day of your last meeting when I spoke, that's not right. Yeah, please read what I have to say. I would like to say the solar panel farms, I've seen nothing positive, and being stuck living next to one of them, I just would like to say the stacks of broken panels and all that other stuff that was left a year ago next door to me, it's all still there. So talking here last month, talking for the last 2 years, asking that the junipers not be planted even a year before they were planted because my family has pollen allergy issues and they're toxic to my family, they're toxic to my animals. Nothing's been done. We also recently, I live in Lancaster Township, and they've mailed information to those of us that live in the township, an electric aggregation program option form. The cost has risen from last year's price of 6.88 cents per kilowatt hour to 8.95 cents per kilowatt hour for this year. So it's gone up, what, a sixth or a fifth more than what it was? So we don't even get a discount on our electric for having this nastiness next door to us. I don't get it. There is nothing positive about these solar panel farms being put next door to homes. There's a subdivision there. There's broken solar panels. It makes no sense. None. It's not next door to any of you guys. In the past, folks have said it's the state. It's not the state only. You guys all have the right to vote no. You're getting money from the solar panel companies. Use it to fight the state. You know, we have a governor that took toilets out of one of his mansions to avoid taxes. How can you follow that man? If you see a wrong, write it. And these solar panels next door to us is wrong.
Mrs. Rivers, your 3 minutes are up.
Take
Thank you.
care. Yeah.
Anyone else for public comment? Seeing none, the next item is executive session. There's 3 items for executive session. The first is 5 ILCS 120/2C2, collective negotiating matters between the public body and its employees or their representatives, or deliberations concerning the salary schedules for one or more classes of employees at the Highway Department. The second item is 5 ILCS 120/2C, employment matters, the appointment, compensation, discipline, performance, or dismissal of a specific employee. And the third and final is 5 ILCS 120/2C11, litigation, excuse me, when an action against, affecting, or on behalf of the particular public body has been filed and is pending before a court or administrative tribunal, or when the public body finds an action is probable or imminent. Is there a motion to go into executive session? By Mr. Jogers, second by Mr. Newton. Any discussion on going into executive session? All right, Mr. Louie, would you initiate the vote, please?
She's gonna need to get on.
Oh, her microphone.
Go ahead. Thank you. You can come up.
Nope, she left.
Thank you, Dale.
Assume you want me to.
Absolutely. If you would, I would have you just discuss with the board simply the same as what you told the committee.
Okay.
Resume regular session June 18th, 2025.
I think it was on. Thank you. Next agenda item is possible action out of executive session. The first item is approval of collective bargaining agreement between Stephenson County Highway Department and United Auto Workers. Is there a motion to approve? By Mr. Brandt, second by Mr. Jogerst. Any discussion? Okay, Mr. Louie, would you prepare the vote, please? And it appears that vote passes unanimously. We'll move on to the second item out of executive session, approval of employment agreement for the Director of Building and Zoning. Is there a motion to approve? By Mr. Frick, is there a second? Second. By Mr. Diddens, is there any discussion? Seeing none, Mr. Louie, would you initiate the vote, please? That also passes unanimously. Thank you very much. We'll now move on to the zoning report. Mrs. Henning, you have 2 action items. If you'd please come forward. Thank you very much.
Thank you. First off, thank you for approving my contract. It's always nerve-wracking. All right. First item on the agenda is a resolution to consider the extension of the special use permit for TPE Illinois ST78 LLC. This permit was originally approved in 2023. TPE is now requesting a 2-year extension to align the project's timeline with ComEd's interconnection schedule. The extension would allow ComEd sufficient time to finalize the interconnection design and obtain all necessary internal approvals. The deadline for the special use is approaching, and due to delays on ComEd's end, delays that are outside of the applicant's control, construction has not been able to begin. According to the county code, the board may, upon written request, supported by evidence that the applicant has diligently pursued all necessary government and regulatory permits required to commence construction, and that the delay is due to circumstances beyond the applicant's control, grant an extension. TPE Illinois ST78 LLC has submitted the required written request along with supporting documentation in accordance with the county code and is requesting to extend the original 24-month period through the passage of this resolution amending the special use permit.
Is there a motion to approve? By Mr. Newton, is there a second? Second. By Mr. Modero, is there any discussion on this? If not, Mr. Louie, would you please initiate the vote? That passes with 2 no votes. Is that correct? I see, it's NA. I apologize. So 1 no vote does pass. Your second item, please.
The next is an ordinance regulating camping on and unauthorized occupancy of county-owned property and other actions in connection therewith. The purpose of this ordinance is to give the county a clear enforceable process to address the unauthorized camping on county-owned property. Unauthorized camping can create public health and safety risks, interfere with the intended use of county facilities and spaces. This will make it illegal for anyone to camp on county property without first obtaining a permit from the county, more than likely the zoning department. This ordinance is intended to protect public spaces and property from nuisance or damage, help the county manage issues related to public safety, sanitation, and environmental impact, allow the county to require individuals who are camping without permission to leave county property, provide a basis for enforcement, including the ability to issue fines or take other necessary actions if violations occur. This ordinance also establishes a permitting process which allows for camping on county property in special circumstances if and only if the county gives prior approval. Ultimately, this ordinance provides the county with a tool to control and prevent unauthorized camping, ensuring county property is used safely and appropriately while preserving the ability to grant permission for certain uses when appropriate.
Is there a motion to approve by Mr. Jogerst? Is there a second by Mrs. Hayes? Is there any discussion? Mr. Hadley, let me get your mic on. Go ahead, sir.
Yes, I have a couple questions. Number one, is this a brand new ordinance, or is this an ordinance that we've been updating?
No, this is a brand new ordinance. We had nothing in our code to protect the county from removing individuals if they were camping on property.
Okay, I have some concerns with this ordinance because we do have, quite a bit of recreational property, and that you said it has to be, now, I'll back up a little bit. We have the Boy Scouts that use this for merit badges purposes for canoeing.
Correct.
Camping. So how do they go, and the Girl Scouts too have used it, because I've been out to these landings and seen the Girl Scouts and the Boy Scouts out there. How does this work for them? They got to get approval through the board?
They'll have to get approval from whoever issues the permit. More than likely, that would be the zoning office. It's in here that states if the county gives prior approval. So let's say Mr. Modero wanted to come out with a group of scouts, or he's mentoring a group of people. He would apply for the permit. We would review, and then he would receive permission, or he would be denied.
So what kind of months are we looking at? I mean, I would recommend that we write a letter to the Girl Scouts and the Boy Scouts and letting them know our new process.
Yes, they already contact us to begin with when they want to camp. We had the past 2 to 3 years, I believe, they've contacted my office. I know last year they wanted to camp. They didn't get it organized because they do a long canoe trip, like you said. The year prior, they wanted to camp, but I believe the river was not at great levels for that. So they always contact us prior to doing any camping.
So what are we looking at? They got to give you kind of like a 90-day notice, or?
It could be within 2 weeks.
But you got to get board approval, I understand. So
that's not the intent of this. The zoning office would issue those and make those determinations.
Oh, so you don't need, you can just.
No, we would not need county board approval, but it just gives, this ordinance would give us a reason. Let's say someone just was camping for weeks on end with no permit. We have a legal way to remove them. So this is what this is for,
and
intended towards.
how about where we have Captain Lincoln up there? They like to do some kind of
reenactment.
Yeah, reenactment. Kind of be nice, so they can still do that up there and give you notice and stuff like that and everything, So.
And if you recall as well, Mr. Louie put a sign up at the Kent Monument where individuals can reserve that area through a code that is scanned by your phone. So it'd be the same way, just with a permit for camping.
Good. I'm happy to see that then. Thank you.
Okay, we'll move on to Mrs. Williams. Go ahead.
Yes, my question would be concerning the homelessness in this ordinance. You were talking about fining people?
Correct. Right now.
Have you had, my first question would be, have you had anybody that's done this?
We have not.
Okay, so we're just being proactive?
Correct, yes.
Okay.
Yes. And it states in here that there would be, I can't find it now, of course, off the top here. A way to have them removed, we have to go through a process to make sure that they have, where'd it go?
I can't find it either. So
right.
I know, but I know it was in there, and that was my concern.
Yes.
If somebody, I guess I understand, and I would agree with the idea that we need to have them removed
Correct.
for a variety of reasons, but I think finding them is not going to solve anything.
Right. No, I understand that, yes.
That was my only comment.
Okay, Mr. Frick, let me get your mic on. Go ahead, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I just had two questions after reviewing this. Does the ordinance need to say how far in advance they need to apply for that? Because maybe it's somebody coming through, maybe it's a group of bicyclists or something coming through. They're not going to be able to come here and scan a QR code at the site. How far in advance do they need to do that? And then number two, the question is, should the ordinance also list the office that they're supposed to contact with a number?
Absolutely.
That can be added at your discretion. If you approve this evening, you can add it into any section that you'd like. The time frame for camping really does not matter. If you call my office Monday and you want to camp Thursday, there's plenty of time for us to do our due diligence to make sure that it's a valid person to be able to camp there. We're not trying to inhibit anything, but we're not trying to just have it as a free-for-all like a campground like Lena or KOA or the park.
Mr. Frick, too, we're not going to be patrolling the landings or anywhere. No, I'm just saying, it's not that we're going to go out there and immediately look and see if we can kick people off. If someone is out there and a stop is made by a sheriff's deputy, potentially, maybe they would ask if they had a camping permit or not. If someone complains, something like that, someone's been out there for weeks on end, that's what this is for.
And the only reason I was asking is not because they got other better things to do than check up on people camping somewhere. But I travel about different parts of the country, and there are different counties that have things like this where they advertise, come stay for 2 nights for free, and then after that it costs. But if you live in Oregon and you come to Illinois, you need to know how to make those contacts. That's all I was asking about there.
Sure.
Any other questions? Seeing none, Mr. Louie, would you initiate the vote, please? Oh, I'm sorry, Mr. Newton, I apologize.
But it's been answered, so.
You sure?
Yeah, yep, it was answered. So,
all right.
Thank you.
Anyone else? Okay, Mr. Louie, if you'd initiate the vote, please. And that passes with 1 no. Anything else, Mrs. Henning?
That is it?
I do have a question, if I could. Mrs. Rivers, who gave public comment, said there were broken panels on a property adjacent to hers. Are you aware of that? And if not, is that something we can look at?
Yes, I am aware of that. When she was in last month at County Board, Nicole and I spoke to her at the meeting. I told her I would go out to the site the following day. Nicole and I went out the following day, drove to the back of the parcel. There was a stack about this tall of parcels that she had in her panels at the back of the parcel that she had in her photos. There were 2 broken panels in that stack. I did contact the company. I talked with them on the phone as well yesterday, and they will be removed.
Okay, is there anything that would compel them to do so other than asking? Anything in our county code?
No.
'Cause I'm assuming those could be toxic.
I'm not 150% sure, but most of them are not.
100%'s enough.
Well, I'm not 100% sure, sorry.
Okay.
Yeah. But her requests are being looked at to remove those panels.
That may be something to look at in your committee, Mr. Frick, if there's something like that, just so that we can address it. Well, if there's, I guess what I'm thinking, if there are broken panels and In my opinion, that's trash.
That would
one.
be, that could be
Not
also
to
a
mention
nuisance.
it's toxic, from my understanding. And I would hate to see them just using it as a dump,
Right,
for
I
lack of
could
a
do
better
that in,
way.
underneath the category 1 and 2 garbage in the
Okay.
nuisance code.
Okay.
Yep.
Great. Thank you. Anything else then?
That's it.
All right. Thank you very
Thank you.
much, Mrs. Henning. All right, we'll move on to proclamations, and I do have one for Juneteenth, Independence Day. Whereas President Abraham Lincoln's Emancipation Proclamation was issued on January 1st, 1863, yet news of the end of slavery did not reach the frontier areas of the United States, and in particular, the southwestern states, for over 2.5 years. And on June 19, 1865, Union soldiers, led by Major General Gordon Granger, arrived in Galveston, Texas, with news that the Civil War had ended and that the enslaved were free. And African Americans who had been enslaved in the Southwest began celebrating June 19th, commonly known as Juneteenth Independence Day, in 1866 as inspiration and encouragement for future generations. And the Stephenson County Board acknowledges the historical significance of Juneteenth Independence Day to the United States, and residents of Stephenson County are encouraged to join continued nationwide celebration of Juneteenth Independence Day to provide an opportunity for the people of the United States to learn more about the past and to better understand the experiences of enslaved people that have shaped this country. And the Stephenson County Board recognizes that celebration of Juneteenth is part of the history and heritage of the United States. Now therefore be it resolved by the Stephenson County Board that June 19th is recognized as Juneteenth Independence Day and encourages everyone to join in celebration and solidarity, and urges all residents to actively raise their own awareness of the significance of this celebration in American history and in the heritage of our nation and county. This is dated, today's date, 18th of June, 2025. Is there a motion to approve? By Mr. Newton. Is there a second? By Mr. Bush. Is there any discussion? If not, Mr. Louie, would you please initiate the vote? Very good. That passes unanimously. Thank you. And again, as a reminder, tomorrow is Juneteenth. Along with celebrating that, the courthouse, I believe, and all county offices will be closed in recognition of that date. We'll now move on to appointments. There are two. The approval of reappointment of Allison Grennan Zettel to the German Valley Fire District, and the approval of the appointment of Leslie Brown to the Merit Commission. Would the board like to take these individually, together? What is their pleasure? Is that a motion? Yes. By who? Mrs. Hayes. Second by Mr. Diddens. Any discussion? Seeing none, Mr. Louie, please initiate the vote. And that passes unanimously. Thank you. I'll be brief in my chairman's report. I want to remind everyone that the annual UCCI trip to Galena is scheduled for July 28th and 29th. If you'd like to attend, please let me know as soon as possible. I don't know where they are as far as availability, but the sooner the better. Also, I was contacted by the National Forestry Department the other day about they will be spraying the northern portions of Stephenson County for spongy moth. For those of you who don't know what a spongy moth is, it was formerly known as the gypsy moth, but unfortunately 2 or 3 years ago the administration decided that was not politically correct to call it the gypsy moth. I feel pretty confident in calling it the gypsy moth from here on out. Regardless, they will be spraying a pheromone. It will not be poisonous or hazardous in any way, but they will be spraying with those yellow crop duster planes. So if you see those, that's what it is. And apparently the pheromone is to confuse the male moths from finding the female moths and doing their business. With that, we will move on to action items and information from standing committees. First up is Finance. Mr. Whalen, you have 2 action items, and let me get your microphone on, please. Go ahead, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. First item is the approval of fiscal year 26 administrative budget policy, and hopefully everybody's had a chance to peruse that. The committee took a look at it over a 2-month period, approved all the changes unanimously at Finance on Monday, and I would move to approve as presented to this board.
Motion made by Mr. Whalen, second by Mr. Jogers. Discussion.
Would you go over some of those changes with us, please? Tell us what they should.
Certainly, Mr. Hadley. Page 1, you'll see there's a highlighted all grants requiring local match must be approved by the county board prior to the application being submitted. So nobody's going to submit a grant request without having prior approval for matching funds. Moving down to page 4, you'll see all new matching grant applications unless the due date for the grant is before the next committee meeting. The department head must contact the committee chairman of the grant and then may apply for the grant. The committee will need to approve before accepting the grant. There's just some verbiage there that was not in the previous write-up. So non-matching grants do not apply. So if they don't need a match, if it's fully funded, they don't need to go through that process. And then you'll see matching in a couple of the other statements to reflect that same thing. So purchasing, department heads are encouraged to purchase from the most qualified low bid wherever possible. And that's according to Code 18.4 and 18.5. I think that verbiage was just simply added to make sure that was stated clearly. Personnel requests, if you look through the verbiage there, personnel request forms must be completed by those departments requesting non-union employee. I'm sorry, I'm on page 8 at this point, highlighted in blue. Requesting non-union employee COLA increases above the percentage outlined in this policy. So if there's a standard COLA increase, which you see below, for wage adjustments for fiscal year 26, which is the 4% that's been pretty much across the board, department heads need to provide justification for that. And then on the last page, there's just some highlighted items, a little bit of changes to budget timing. And so June 25th, the budget's available to the department heads on Teams, and the process will start. So please be aware of the budget process, committee chairs especially, to encourage the budget process to flow properly per the schedule we have there.
Mr. Hadley, Mr. Modero had pressed his button first. I'll come back to you. Mr. Modero.
Thank you. I just wanted to point out for the board that a lot of those changes that were made as they relate to grants are a direct result of subcommittee work. A lot of times that work goes unnoticed. And so I think for our information and public information, it's worth pointing out this is the real application and result of some of that work that a number of us are involved in. So I just wanted to highlight that.
Great, thank you. Mr. Hadley, go ahead.
Yes, thank you. What did we give for a COLA last year?
4%.
4%. Some that I like to see during this budget season is what the total cost of this 4% for non-union employees. You know, I kind of like to see that number. I know that we can't get that, I asked about that number last year, but I kind of like to see a number, ahead of time.
$427,000 for the increase on non-union. Of that, IMRF will be $13,500, Social Security be $32,600.
Okay, then. Thank you very much, then.
Anyone else? Seeing none, Mr. Louie, please initiate the roll call. And that appears to be approved unanimously. Mr. Whalen, your second item, please.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The second item is a finance surplus property sale.
Address was 911 South Walnut Avenue. Been a vacant lot since 2017. The county has been the trustee since 2018. The last time any property taxes were paid on the parcel was October 2010. And we received to total of, I always get this, $385, total of $835 for the sale, but the total of the county was $385. I would move to approve the sale of that property as presented.
Motion by Mr. Whalen, is there a second? By Mr. Diddens, any discussion? Seeing none, Mr. Louie, please initiate the vote. And that passes unanimous. Any other information of your committee, sir?
I would just add, so far the budget cycle has looked okay. We'll get a better picture of where we're at the midway point, plus the first half of the property tax bills coming in. Seemed to me some of the sales tax income was running a little bit behind, but Adrian was able to help us understand that may not be the case depending on how it all flows. So I'm looking forward to next month to see where we're at the midway point.
Very good. Thank you. Public property and safety, Mr. Bush, you have one action item. Let me get your microphone here. Well, can you try it? Nope, don't press anything. I'm just going to turn it on for you. There you go.
Ordinance amending Chapter 372 of the Code of Ordinance of Stephenson County, Illinois to incorporate in Article 3, providing for seizure and impoundment of vehicles used in connection with certain offenses, imposition of administrative fee for release of such vehicles, and implement of administrative review of such administrative fee. It was told to us that this ordinance was mirror of other counties surrounding Stephenson County. After State's Attorney Lawson looked at it, even though it's mirror of more or less Ogle County, he recommended that we incorporate with the state statute states under 372.34 seizures of 10 days to go to 35. I'm gonna make sure I got that correct.
That is correct.
It is? Okay. So, so I so move on this ordinance here.
Okay, there is a motion to approve. Is there a second? By Mrs. Hayes. Discussion. Mr. Frick, go ahead.
I just had a question. Where do these fees go?
To the sheriff's office, and they will be putting that towards the body cam contract that will be coming up in 27.
Is that in here anywhere so that the public knows that?
I think it's discussed, but it's not as part of the ordinance of it having it being restricted, but it would go to the sheriff's office.
Thank you.
Any other questions?
I would just like to add that the city did, they have somewhat of a pounded fee ordinance, but they're really concerned about if we pass it, then they would like to look at it as well. So.
Anyone else? Seeing none, Mr. Louie, would you please initiate the vote? Appears to pass with one no vote by Mr. Frick. Mr. Bush, any other items out of your committee?
The committee voted approval going out for RFPs for solar panels to be placed at the jail on the east end of the jail. And that was more or less looking at for helping to reduce the electrical costs at the jail.
All right, great. Thank you. All right, we'll move on to Administration Committee. Mr. Jogers, no action items. If you'd press your button there. Do you have any information out of your committee?
A couple things here. Reading out of the administrator's report,
Facilities maintenance, there was a thank you to Sheriff Stovall. The truck has the licenses changed, and the insurance company has been notified. This is for the truck that Mr. Remmer is going to use to haul the new trailer and the mower. He did pick that up on June 9th, and there was a 5-year maintenance agreement with that, so we're in good shape there. As usual, our IT manager, Mr. Louie, has been very busy. I won't go through everything, but as you can tell, we've got new technology in here, and this is pretty much about done, I think, based on his report. And the copier installation from Access Systems is completed. There was a couple of hiccups, but everything seems to be okay now. It was worth the $100,000 savings. So, and then the CrowdStrike conversion over to the state has been completed as well. And he's finishing up testing on the health department server and upgrades. And that's about it. So a lot going on.
All right.
Thank you,
great.
sir. Yep.
Thank you very much. Move on to court services. Mr. Diddens, you have 3 action items, I believe.
Yes, that's correct. Thank you.
Oh, let me get yours on. I thought I had it on. Go ahead, sir.
All right, thank you. The first item is our circuit clerk wants to sign up for a grant. She needs our approval. It's just, I think it's $16,000, and she can use it to improve the department. So I would make a motion to approve the grant.
Motion by Mr. Diddens, seconded by Mr. Jogerst. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, Mr. Louie, would you please initiate the vote? And that passes with Mrs. DeMeester voting no. Mr. Diddens, your second item, please.
The second item is a bill we have to pay for $3,500. And this is for a service that makes the reporting of a order of protection, gets out quicker, gets out to the departments that need to be notified. It's just an annual bill, so I would make a motion that we pass that.
Motion by Mr. Diddens. Is there a second? By Mr. McKenna. Is there any discussion? Mr. Frick, go ahead.
Just a question. Did you say that was for 3,500?
I think that's what it said, 3,500. Let me look at it.
Just curious why we did it.
It's just an agreement coming through.
Okay.
The agreement required board approval. Anything else, Mr. Frick?
Nope.
If no other questions, comments, Mr. Louie, please initiate the vote. And that passes unanimously. Mr. Diddens, your final item.
The third item is we'd like to, the probation department would like to go into an agreement with the Sinnissippi Centers in Rockford. It's a program set up to try and target youth that have gotten on the wrong side of the law, and it's kind of like a little camp where they talk to the individuals and try and teach them why they did what they did and what the consequences are, and try and get them to change their ways. And Dr. McGee said that her department would cover any costs if there were any. So I would make a motion that we go ahead with this program.
Motion by Mr. Diddens. Is there a second?
Second.
By Mr. Newton. Any discussion? Seeing none, Mr. Louie, please initiate the vote. That passes unanimously as well. Is there any other items out of your committee, sir?
Not at this time, thank you.
All right, thank you very much. We will move on to Mrs. Baker and the Nursing Home Committee. You have one action item. And if you could please press your, thank you very much. Go ahead, ma'am.
Approval of the bid, letter of intent for the purchase of the Stephenson Nursing Center, quote, Walnut Acres. If I get a motion to approve, I will make a motion to approve. If I get a second, I will ask Serenity Estates to come up to speak.
Is there a second? By Mr. Whalen. Go ahead.
Serenity Estates, if you would.
So before, yeah, Mr. Hadley, go ahead.
Before they come up, I hate to have them up here. I got some questions for the state's attorney in reference. And could somebody explain letter of intent, please, to us, what that means, what we're doing here tonight, so the public knows?
The letter of intent is non-binding in most regards. The portions that would be binding would be a commitment on the part of the county not to enter into negotiations to sell the nursing home to anyone other than this party for the next 30 days. Does that answer your question?
Yes, the vote will be a simple majority, not a supermajority.
It in no way obligates the county to sell the nursing home. It's my opinion that it would be a simple majority.
Okay, then. I guess I have some questions. Can I continue on, Chair?
Please.
Yes. So we've heard from the public tonight in reference to a referendum. A while back, Mr. Larson, you gave your opinion. We have some new board members here. Was that a written opinion or was that just some that you had? Did you send that out to the whole board?
Yes.
Okay. We do have new board members here, and I guess my question is, could we get that written opinion sent back out to the whole board, to refresh our memories and stuff?
I think I would like to revise it to some extent, but sure.
Okay, so you said you're going to revise it and then?
Yeah, and I don't think my ultimate conclusion changes, but there has been a fair amount of discussion of the intervening referendum that happened after the creation of Walnut Acres and the impact that should have. And I think that wasn't referenced in my initial motion, and I think sending out a motion without addressing that wouldn't be doing anybody any favors.
So eventually you'll change it and get it out to the whole board then?
Sure.
Before the next board meeting then, or?
Certainly before this matter comes to the board for a vote on the sale.
Okay. I have another question. Are you going to handle being the attorney for the county, or are we going to hire outside an attorney to review all this?
Well, that will ultimately be the administration and the board's decision. I would certainly recommend hiring an outside counsel for that procedure, because I think it's a fairly niche market or niche area of the law. And I'm very, very busy. So I would recommend hiring outside counsel. But if it comes to me to take on, I will.
So when do we think we're going to be doing that, Chairman Helms?
I've already reached out to Paulsonelli, which was the law firm that you contacted back, I don't recall what year, but you reached out to former administrator Jim Snyder, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
Paulsonelli represented Rock Island County. Mm-hmm. They have sent me a professional services agreement, which I feel is premature to send out until after this vote tonight, or at least until we find out if there's going to be an offer. There's no point in engaging an attorney prior to having an offer.
Okay. Also, I was notified by an appraiser, and he's retired, that if you sell county property, appraisal needs to be done before the sale of the property. Are you aware of that, Mr. Larson? And if you can look into that, that's a question.
Well, it's certainly true that the county is obligated to get fair market value for its property. There's no question about that. An appraisal would be one method of doing that. Another method would be competitive bidding, which is the method that the county has followed tonight.
Okay, but will you look in to see if that appraiser is right about the law, so we're not violating the law?
Sure.
Okay, and then my question, thank you, Mr. Larson, Mr. Chairman. Some people brought up the generator in the solar field does not belong to the county. Has this been told to the potential buyers, and are they going to assume the responsibility, or is the county going to have to assume the responsibility for paying for this?
I did notify Serenity Estates that there is an agreement between the foundation and the county for the solar field. I'm not aware of any agreement for the generator. My understanding was that was a gift from the foundation. There's no contract that I could find that the county board approved for the generator.
Okay.
But they are aware of the solar field agreement, yes.
Okay, you might want to look into the giant I know there's a couple of generators, but the giant generator. I guess, has the county ever done, and this is to Chairman Helms, the value of the nursing home with a real estate appraisal yet? Have we done one?
There's three types of appraisals. There's an income approach, a cost approach, can't say it, cost approach, and a sales comparison approach. Those are the three types of appraisals that would be available to use for an instance like this, and most are used for a business or an income and a cost approach. I can't make that determination on my own. However, as you're aware, can't recall the name of the brokers that submitted a bid back in May, I believe it was. They gave in their report their estimation as brokers of what they felt the value of that home was. And I would be paraphrasing, but I believe, and please don't quote me on this, I don't have it in front of me, I believe they said the maximum amount to expect would be approximately $2 million.
Okay, then.
But you have that, so you can reference that yourself as well. Every county board member received it.
Okay, then, could you resend that out to the new board members and us to refresh?
That was in May. We can send it out to everyone again.
In May of?
This year. That was a response to the RFP, the broker service. No, this year.
This year?
What,
I mean the broker that sent us the...
The Nursing Home Committee approved an RFP to hire a broker in April. We received a response, which was sent out to all committee members and actually all county board members for consideration. In May, I had asked the Oversight Committee to please lay that over, that decision, because I felt we could sell this without the use of a broker, saving about $180,000 to the county.
So it's in that proposal?
Absolutely it is.
Okay. And who's going to do the survey property lines out there? Somebody was concerned about Veterans Park. It's owned by the county. We're not going to give that to the nursing, if we sell the nursing home. We're going to keep that as county property, the Veterans Park?
Absolutely. I don't have the authority to sell that property.
Okay. I mean,
I don't have the authority to sell any property.
Yeah. Well, it's nursing home property, and so we got to hire a survey for the property lines out there and everything. We've been working on that too because of the letter of intent.
If there is a bid for the board to consider, the attorney's office would do a title search, and they would also do a search of the property to make sure the boundaries are exactly what we're offering for sale.
Yeah, because we have a lot of, the highway department has some of it out there that's really nursing home property. And also the parking lot to the soccer field, as maybe you don't remember, is that somehow if that soccer field gets sold, the parking lot converts back to the county through Malcolm Eaton and stuff like that. That was, we voted that down as a board at one time, not to allow that
clause. Yes.
So that's another issue too, that needs to be taken out too, that we're not going to give the parking lot and stuff like that,
Well, we don't have the parking lot. That would be a reverter clause that would come back if Malcolm Eaton decided they no longer wanted that.
Yeah.
It would come back to the county.
Okay, then. That's all I have. You can bring the folks up then. Thank you.
All right, we'll move on to Mr. Newton. Give me 1 second to turn your mic on. There you go, sir.
Question, this is to you, Chairman. What exactly happens
to the nursing home committee, would that be dissolved if we decided after 30 days to go forth with a sale? Or would this new, would Serenity still in some way, somehow, possibly be reporting information about the nursing home throughout the rest of the year to the committee? What is your thought on that?
If Serenity Estates, through their due diligence, decides to offer a bid for purchase and this board approves it, the sale would be concluded within 30 days. However, they would apply to IDPH for a license, and under that time frame, which my understanding is 6 to 9 months approximately, there would be an interim management agreement between Serenity Estates and Stephenson County where they would operate the home after the closing, after we've been paid, up until IDPH approves that. The oversight committee would stay into effect until that is completed.
Answers my question. Thank you.
You're welcome. Go ahead, Mr. Hadley. Let me get your mic on. Go ahead, sir.
So what happens if IDPH doesn't approve this then? Down in Springfield, we'll go back to the DeKalb hearing. They had a hearing down there for DeKalb and they disapproved selling to the private sector and keep it in the nursing home hands. What happens there, Chairman?
Well, I have no reason to believe that IDPH would not approve it. I'm not aware of the situation as to why the other was not approved. However, this board can elect to take that $1.5 million and place it into an escrow account if it chooses to hold on to that until IDPH gives their approval. In the event, in your example, if it's not approved, then I'm quite certain Serenity Estates would want their money back.
Well, we're taking a big chance, so, okay, thank you.
We're taking a big chance every day that is open and we're barely making payroll.
Yeah.
Any other questions? All right, can I have the principals of Serenity Estates please come up? Thank you very much. Let me get your microphone turned on there, and then once that is green, if you would just please introduce yourselves.
Wonderful. Hey, good evening. My name is Jennifer Darty, and this is my partner, John Coglianese. We are the managing partners, owners of Serenity Estates, LLC. Thank you so much for the opportunity to speak today. I am Dr. Jennifer Darty, a business and healthcare specialist with PhD in strategic management. I'm also a licensed nurse, an experienced leader in stabilizing and managing healthcare facilities. Again, I'm here with my business partner, John Coglianese, a registered nurse, as well as a licensed nursing home administrator with a deep experience with leading struggling facilities through successful turnarounds. We've worked across the country in some of the toughest environments, and we're here because we believe in this facility and the community. We believe in rural nursing homes. Serenity Estates is a skilled nursing turnaround and management company. When facilities are in trouble, financially, operationally, or clinically, we step in with a team of experienced professionals to stabilize operations, restore care standards, support staff, and rebuild trust in the community. We focus on what matters most, and that's the people. This comes into quality of care, stable leadership, and staff support. Our team has helped facilities that were behind on payroll, losing residents and at risk for closure. We've worked with administrators, staff, and residents to ensure everyone has the support they need to succeed. From the nursing floor to the business office, we understand what it takes to make a facility strong again. We recently announced Serenity Estates publicly. It was a branding on our social media, but we didn't just start last week. Our team members have been doing this work for years for other companies, and Serenity Estates was created over a year ago. Serenity is simply a way of us, John and I, continuing the work under our own name with the same team and the same mission. We truly are just two nurses who care about people enough to get involved and to run nursing homes well. I want to speak on a facility we recently took over, which was called Serenity Estates of Morris. So let me share this example. The building was behind 2 payrolls. Employees had not been paid for over a month. Vendors had stopped delivering supplies. The city had placed multiple liens on the facilities. Families had stopped referring their loved ones, and we were called in to fix it. In just 6 months, we paid back payroll and all the utility bills. We rebuilt trust with vendors, and we helped stabilize leadership. We improved the care with better training and wound care programs. We renegotiated contracts to support the facility financially. We created financial stability. Fewer residents needed to be sent to the hospital. In fact, our return to hospital rate was 3% recently. Our plan for Stephenson Nursing Center is simple. We would like to keep all the staff, including this lovely administrator that we've met. Everyone keeps their jobs, and we're here to support and strengthen, not replace. Stability for residents and our staff is top priority. Second, we want to keep all the beds certified. Every single bed would remain duly certified for Medicare and Medicaid. We have no means of restricting any Medicaid beds, and we would like to continue to provide long-term care services to the public. Our third point is we'd like to bring financial stability. We have capital ready to support this facility, including payroll, supplies, and programs, which will not suffer. We invest in buildings, we do not strip them. 4, we provide on-site support. Again, we are nurses. We also have a team of nurses, billing specialists, compliance professionals, and clinical trainers who help each facility succeed. And number 5, we would be available to the community. We will hold open meetings. We have held open meetings at our communities, and we do stay accountable. It isn't a big corporate takeover. We would be your new partners, John and Jen. There are 4 items I would like to focus on. One I've already spoke about is maintaining the Medicaid beds. We are committed, and if you looked at our 2 communities, Lincolnshire and Morris, we have not eliminated any bed, any Medicare, any Medicaid bed. We are committed to continue to keep every bed. Number 2, capital investment. We wouldn't just buy this building, we would update the building. We would put a significant amount of money into the building, which would better the lives of the residents and their family members. Number 3, staff wages. When we looked at the wages of the staff, they were significantly underpaid, and we would like to increase those wages. Number 4, a community impact. When the home is county owned, taxes are not paid, but if we are taking it over privately, we do pay taxes, and we would like to invest that money back into the city. There are questions about star ratings, but as I talked about, we specialize in distressed facilities. We specialize in facilities that star ratings are struggling, where there are abuse allegations, which if you looked up the same website where you saw that star rating, you would see that that was a tag before we took over this building. We specialize in facilities that cannot make payrolls or allow residents to eat because they can't pay their bills. We don't want that for this home, but we've seen it repeatedly. There's a question about Lincolnshire being in bankruptcy from before. That was a facility that we had to be approved by the federal bankruptcy court to take over because it was in bankruptcy. They were unable to make payroll, and they were going to shut the building down. That means that lives were affected because residents would have had to move out of their home. But we were able to provide financial stability. My final thoughts are that this facility needs help. We wouldn't be here if it was doing well. And it's a lovely building, and this town seems like a lovely town, but the building, the operations, it does need help. And we've seen firsthand what happens when people delay. We've been called in to consult on companies, on nursing homes, the week before they're going to lose their license. And not every building succeeds. People have to move. And if there's not another nursing home with beds, they have to move out of that town. And these are people. We don't want to do that to people. We want to give them a safe, stable place to live. We're not asking you to hope for the best. We are offering a clear plan backed by years and decades of experience, doctoral education, and we ask that we're able to work with you to make this nursing facility a place where your community can be proud. And that's all of my thoughts. So thank you.
John, did you have anything before I open up for questions?
No, Jennifer covered everything.
Okay, if I could, before I open it up for questions, can you speak again to payer mix and what your intent is if you were to purchase the home?
Again, we would keep all of our beds duly certified for both Medicare and Medicaid. We would like to be a large long-term care provider. That means that we would like to have a large amount of residents who do have Medicaid as a payer mix. Most likely with this community, we would see that, and we would see a short or a small Medicare or skilled mix, we'd also be able to provide those services. But we see with rural homes being a long-term place for residents to be able to live. I hope I answered your question.
Yeah, and did I understand you to say that your intent is for wages to be higher than what they currently are?
Correct. When we did an analysis of the current wages, we saw that they were significantly under not just the national averages or the state averages, but the town averages. We have the capital to do that. We believe that we should invest in our people. We believe that happy people take care of residents in a very good way. And again, we want to provide the best care we possibly can to residents.
And are you a private equity firm or have any ties to private equity?
We are not. However, we do have capital from banks. So if we have an AR line, it does come from a bank, which is normal. It's a normal practice. We own Serenity Nursing LLC, Morris Nursing LLC, and Lincolnshire Nursing LLC. And again, that is owned by myself and John.
My final question is, how did you learn that this facility was being discussed for potential sale?
I will let John answer that.
One of the former administrators, Shannon Harris Sell, is a friend of mine, and she contacted me directly. So she contacted me, and we began our due diligence to look into it.
All right, thank you. Opening up for questions from any board members. Mr. Whalen, go ahead.
Thank you both for being here tonight. Sincerely appreciated. John, my question is for you. You spent a significant amount of time with IDPH. Can you expound on that for the rest of the board members here?
Sure. So throughout my career, I wore a bunch of hats, and one of them was I worked with Department of Public Health as a state monitor. So what that means is there was trouble facilities, wound care, usually wound care and abuse. I specialized in that. They would send me in. I was a 4 o'clock in the morning gentleman, and I would go into the building, do inspections, and help them. And I would stay there to the buildings weekly. I would be in the buildings a couple days a week and helping them get better. And started doing plans of correction, reviewing it, and helping them move forward.
Thank you, sir.
Is that all?
And I
Would like to add, if Jennifer, if you could you comment both on your credentials again, just so everybody, I don't think everybody got that. You have a doctorate in something, you have another degree.
I'm a nurse. I have a nursing license. I'm a licensed practical nurse in the state of Illinois. I have a MBA, and I am a PhD in business with strategic management as my focus.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Mr. Hadley, go ahead.
Yes, just to follow up with the state of Illinois, were you a contract employee through the state of Illinois?
Correct. That's what state monitors are. They're contract.
Okay, so you weren't a state employee getting the state of Illinois paycheck, you were a contractor.
No, I was not a state employee. I worked 6 years as a state with the IDPH contract. I was a contract employee for them for 6 years.
Okay, then I just wanted to verify that. So some people thought you were an actual paid state employee, so.
I was the gentleman who went in and did the jobs nobody else wanted to do at 4 o'clock in the morning.
I have another follow-up question.
Go ahead, Mr. Hadley.
Is that, as you know, a county-run nursing home for Medicaid gets approximately $315.45. Once it goes to a private sector, it reduces by $78.46, approximately $100,000 loss a month. How are you going to absorb that cost?
Unfortunately, the management company that I will not speak poorly of, and I do not know how they run their financials or their pro formas. However, when we look at a building, I, as a PhD in business who has lived in Excel and lived in financial pro formas, I complete a pro forma on every building that we take over. Before we even potentially ever think about putting in an LOI, I make sure that it works. So I have already ran the numbers with several different censuses, skill mix, overhead costs, and the reduced Medicaid rate, which you've already spoken of.
Okay, thank you.
Can you just expand on that and what you found after you ran those pro formas?
I don't have this sheet in front of me. However, we were able to make it financially work.
All right, thank you. Anything else, Mr. Hadley?
No, that's it. Thank you, Chairman.
Mrs. Williams, go ahead.
Thank you, Chairman. I have a couple of questions. My background is in real estate title searching. I was able to do, through my contacts, deeds of ownership for each of your properties. I am wondering who FNR Morris LLC is.
FNR Morris was the old operator. FNR Morris still currently owns the real estate. We own the nursing home operations and management.
So you have like a lease agreement with them?
We
Is
do
that
have
correct?
currently we have a lease agreement with them, yes.
Okay. I am wondering, okay, let me go on to my second question then. Lincolnshire Properties Limited Partnership, is that the same type of a situation you have?
It is. Generally, nursing homes go under a lease to purchase agreement. And with Lincolnshire Nursing, we went into a quick lease to purchase because, again, that facility was in bankruptcy.
Okay, so there's a lease agreement that you have with each of these facilities?
Yes, that's correct.
Okay. I am concerned about where your money comes from.
Mm-hmm.
You said it comes from a bank, but then you have to have enough assets in order to make it work.
We are HUD approved, and we have a HUD approved AR line.
It's collateralized by their accounts receivables.
Okay, I can handle that thought. There's still got to be...
To be approved by HUD, so I apologize, you have to show significant ability to make nursing homes financially work. And so we had to prove to HUD, a government body, that we were able to do so, and we did.
Okay. Do you have references and people we can talk to?
In regards to our AR line?
No.
Actually, we would be able to get you probably a contact directly about that, who could speak to our success, and as well as our clinical success, our reimbursement success, as well as our operation success and our compliance success. And we probably would be able to give you a state reference, as we know these state representatives fairly well for nursing homes in our areas.
Yes, I am concerned. That would be good.
Mm-hmm.
Is there a possibility that we could have a hands-on tour of the facilities that you already have?
If you'd like to, anyone's more than welcome to always tour our facilities. In fact, we give tours every day of the week.
Okay.
You do not need to schedule. You're more than welcome to drop in. And in fact, I encourage that so that you really get a good feel of what we do.
Can we, and you said you're encouraging us to have a town hall and speak to our community on your capabilities of handling this? Are you talking about having a town hall meeting after we've agreed to all this?
Did you say that I encouraged you to have a town hall?
Well, no, you had mentioned earlier about wanting a town hall.
We do town halls with our communities in which we manage, operate, and own.
Do you do it at this stage of the process, or do you do it once you've already...
We've done it before to help people in case they have questions, especially with Lincolnshire with the bankruptcy issue. We did it afterwards to make sure everything was good, and then we just do it on a quarterly cadence.
Okay. Chairman, I'd like to make a motion, please.
Okay.
To delay this for 30 days, to investigate the things that I have questions on, and to investigate the references.
Is your motion to bring it back to the full board in July?
Yes, in 30 days.
Is there a second to that motion?
I'll second for discussion.
By Mr. Newton. Discussion on the motion to lay over for 30 days only. Mr. Whalen.
Mr. Chairman,
I'm sorry, I don't see the point. This is an LOI, it's not a sale. We have 30 days to investigate them if we so choose. They've been very open, they're offering to answer any questions. I don't understand the point. I would vote against that at this time.
Anyone else on the motion to lay over for 30 days? Mrs. Hayes, go ahead.
Chairman, I agree with Mr. Whalen. We're already given 30 days to do the investigation. I'm not sure if we need a full 60 days. I myself am going to be in Lincolnshire. So I might drop in. I might just stop in and tour the facility. I think that that's a very generous offer for you to do that. Morrison is not that far if people want. Morris. Still not that far. I have no idea where it is. It's a road trip. But either way, I think, I think 30 days, because at first we thought it was 2 weeks. But it's 30 days. So I think the 30 days is possible. I think that the information that was so forthcoming is adequate enough to make a decision in 30 days. I don't know. That's my thought.
All right, thank you. Mr. Jogerst on the layover.
Thank you, Chairman. I don't see any point of kicking the can down the road any farther. I mean, we're already 1.8 million behind in past due bills. The longer this goes on, vendors are going to pull out. We're going to have to move people. So there's no sense of doing this. I'm going to vote no on this layover. Thank you.
Okay. Mr. Hadley on the layover.
I support the layover because I think we're rushing too fast here on just one bid. We're losing money out of this whole deal also, so I'm going to vote to lay it over.
Okay, Mr. Diddens on the layover. Let me get your mic on. Go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I agree that I don't think we need another 30 days. They're being upfront with us. They've offered us tours, references, and we are running on a thin line with this nursing home. It fails and we have to start moving patients out. That'd be catastrophic. So I think we should just move forward.
Anyone else on the layover? Okay, seeing none. Mr. Louie, would you please initiate the vote to lay over for 30 days? Oh, let's see here. There are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 to vote yes for the layover, which would mean there are 10 no for the layover. So the motion to lay over fails. We're back to the original motion to approve the letter of intent as provided. Is there any further discussion? Any further questions for Mr. Hadley? Go ahead.
I don't have any other further questions for Serenity Estates, but I do have a follow-up question to ask the state's attorney, please.
You folks can sit down if you'd like. Thank you. Press your button if you would, please, Carl.
Mr. Larson, so if it looks like it's imminent that we'll probably see a lawsuit, would you be handling this lawsuit case, or will you be having to hire outside counsel to handle this lawsuit if it comes about?
Well, I would anticipate this lawsuit would follow the path of virtually every lawsuit against the county, which is we would turn it in as a claim to our insurance company, and the attorneys from IFMK would be defending it.
They would be, our liability company would? We wouldn't have to hire somebody else then, huh?
I did confirm that. I'm sorry to interrupt. I did confirm that they would be handling any lawsuit on behalf of the county.
Okay, then. Okay, that's the question I had. Thank you.
Mr. Whalen, go ahead. Nope. You have to press your button. You had it on. Go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I was thinking about this morning, and what is it with this thing? I saw it back like in 2006 when I was on this board before. It reminded me of a little kid with a toy that has gotten old. and it's getting worn out. It doesn't work as well as it used to, and you've got some responsible adults trying to do the right thing, trying to make something work where it doesn't work now. It's not working, folks. It hasn't worked well for a long time. You've got people that change hands on this board every 2 years to try and manage this thing. Took me 6 months to try and even figure out what the financials were and how we build things. I reject something I heard earlier, the fact that no elected officials have studied this issue. I've been personally affected by this issue by 2 grandparents. I took a long time to do a market study that I released to everyone in this board in April of 2023. I'd be happy to share that with anyone here. When this thing was initiated, there was nothing else here, right? Now you have a multiplicity of options within 30 minutes drive time of the surrounding area, okay? And the fact remains, we tried the management company route. You can tell me all you want that it was profitable during that time, and I will laugh out loud. I'm sorry, it was not. You look at the write-offs, we wrote off over $1 million worth of AR. Since that time, the new company that we've engaged with has recommended over, well, probably between $400,000 and $500,000 worth of write-offs are coming our way, and it's just a tough business. And what cracks me up even more than anything, you've got people here who are engaged in offering something that has everything that we're supposed to be asking for and supposed to be giving our constituents in terms of this nursing home. Is it a guarantee? No. I can't guarantee you we're all going to be here tomorrow, right? But it's a good option. It's an option that's on the table that I believe will do are we really interested in what's best for the people that live there and work there? Are we really interested in that? Because I think if we are, then we will likely move forward with this agreement if it works its way out. If we want to play politics with it, if we want to beat a dead horse like we have been for the last 2 years that I've been on this board, well, let's keep going. But I am certainly not for that, and I think we have a legitimate opportunity to do what's best for these people that live and work there. I really do, from everything I see from these guys. Now, if it proves out that we visit Lincolnshire and we visit Morris and we find out, oh, there's some shyster behind this operation, then yeah, I would be against it 100%. But to do that right out of the gate, I don't understand that. To me, again, I go back to this analogy. It's like this little kid that's got this toy. You're going to take it away from me. Don't do that. It's ridiculous. Be grown-ups, please. Look at the numbers that we have to deal with here, people. If we don't do something, that place is going to close. Sure as I'm sitting here, the state is going to come in and go, you know what? Or the vendor, 5 or 6 that we can't pay. Why is it not profitable now? It's not Matrix's fault. We had to pay $500,000 to the last folks that were trying to run it. Don't give me that. So, sorry. It really gets me worked up, though. And I'm tired of hearing all this stuff about how it's our fault. The county board hasn't done anything but try and make this work, in my opinion. We're not all for it, because I'm not for a publicly owned situation, especially when it's not something that's statutorily a responsibility of this county board. It never has been. And I get that the community voted for it, but it's a lot different game than it was 50-some years ago when this whole thing started. So please, be adults. Be objective. Sit back and look at the whole scope of this thing. Take the politics out of it, please. Thank you.
Mr. Newton, go ahead. Oh, let me get your mic on. I thought I had on. Go ahead, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Yeah, I've been around, I can say this, longer than me? Way longer than you. And so I can tell you that this is an issue before I got on the board. It's an issue while I was on the board. And it may not be an issue after I'm off the board, because who knows how long that is still. But I wanted to say this. One of the issues that nobody can deny is that the county board does not run the nursing home at the level that it needs to run in order to be effective. There's no denying that we need another format for running the county board. I mean, running the county, running the nursing home. We just can't do it. We've tried for many years to do it successfully, but time has brought about a change, and it's time to do something different. The only thing that is different right now that we don't agree on is how do we get to that decision? And I think that, we've talked about it, and if we all are on the same page, it should be something else should happen, then it wouldn't have hurt for us to go back to the general public and ask them and tell them things are at a point where we need to make a decision and let them decide. They decided to put it in play. They can decide to take it out of play. That didn't happen. And it might still come to what we're trying to decide on now. I have no doubt that it could result in that. But at least you gave the general public the opportunity to make part of that decision, since you had to go through that for them to do it. That's my only draw. I don't believe for a minute that if we kept this another year, we'd be managing it much better a year from now than we're doing right now. The problem is that you didn't give the general public a chance. And so that's where I am. I have to vote no because we didn't give them an opportunity to say no. And it was already stated tonight that why not give the general public an opportunity to vote on it? That's their opportunity. We didn't do it. The law says we should do it, but we're circumventing that now by just going through the procedure of selling it before it can become a question of whether the general public makes that decision. We need to do something. And you're saying do it now or never, but that's what I have to say, Mr. Chairman. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Mr. Newton. Mrs. Williams, for your second time.
Thank you, Chairman. I wasn't going to say anything else, but with Mr. Whalen's comments, I wanted just to bring a couple of things to the forefront. You had some good points. There are a lot of things that you said. There was the banker in me who says the money doesn't add up, okay? But I'm looking at the thought that we have a responsibility to those people within the community who cannot provide for themselves. I do not think, from my observations, that this county board, nor the committee, nor the county board from previously or from the committees from before, were all working towards the same goal. There were so many times in the last 2 years that I have seen nothing but opposition, personality conflicts. I think something has to be done. There's no doubt in my mind. I agree with Mr. Newton on that specifically. But I wonder why last year, when the budget was being put together and the committee knew that there was past due bills, that there was nothing put in the budget to take care of those past due bills. Zip, nada. Anybody want to answer that question? I mean, I'm the new guy on the block here. I'm the one that needs some education. I'm not saying that I don't. It's just that if you knew that there were bills due last year and we're so far in the hole, why didn't we make provisions for that?
I can answer that if you'd like from my perspective.
Well, I'd like somebody's perspective.
We would have stripped money from a department that is statutorily required and given it to a department that's not statutorily required. The statutorily required departments are everything else in this county, including animal control. I'm more required to fund animal control, and you are, than we are the nursing home. Statutorily.
Okay.
So you would have stripped money. I'm not willing to strip money from something that we're statutorily required to fund something that we're not. That's my perspective.
Is that the reason that we never went and got the additional money? I mean, I know that there was tax caps on the 1%. There was a tax cap for the entire county. I'm hoping I'm phrasing this correctly.
It's PTEL.
Right. But we are not collecting as much from our citizens as what they voted on. Is that correct? Because of the PTEL.
No.
I thought that was the point that Casey Anthony always brought up.
PTEL has nothing to do with the levy amounts. PTEL prohibits you from going out and levying more taxes without a referendum. We're tax capped. County board has the authority to move dollars within levies.
Correct, but we're not at the full 1% for Stephenson County Nursing Center.
That could be. That's voted on by this body every year in November.
So that could have been raised and more
Board
money,
decided to do so, sure.
but that was not done.
It has not been done for a number of years.
Correct, but I think at one point there was some discussion about, Casey had brought it up that she wanted to do that. And I don't know what the procedure was to get it to you guys, to the board, but I know that it's not at the 1%.
How much short is it?
I think almost 50%, if I'm remembering correctly.
50% of $500,000?
Do not quote me.
It's not 50%, I can tell you that. Anything else, Mrs. Williams?
No.
Mr. Hadley for a second time.
Yes, so I've been on the board since 2002, and I had a 4-year break. And I've seen the nursing home and been an advocate of the nursing home for many years. And our chairman, former chairman, of the nursing home committee, Ed Eady, God bless him, and he was the vice chairman of the county board. He always said, work to keep that nursing home because it's the people's home. And I've always said that I would keep that promise. And I've seen us in a $2 million debt out there at that nursing home. And I've seen us pay back that $2 million where we didn't have any debt out there. Also, I'm a strong believer that, you know, we built the nursing home on a referendum. We need to get the public's input to sell the nursing home on a referendum. It should not be decided by 16 people. It should be decided by the good citizens of Stephenson County. And in 1998, they overwhelmingly approved a referendum to put a levy on the nursing home, you know. So the public has been a big supporter of this county nursing home. And I will continue to be a big supporter of this county nursing home. Everything that Serenity Estate said sounds really good, but they don't really have to keep any promises to the citizens of Stephenson County. We have to keep promises to the citizens of Stephenson County. And saying that, I believe that we need to be looking at other proposals, just not one single proposal that is for $1.5 million. We're going to end up giving that nursing home away free and still have debt on top of that, and maybe incur more debt on top of that if legal things happen. My biggest concern is that we need to slow down and look at other proposals. And I'll give you an example. I had the request for TCM's proposal, and I think it's a proposal that we should very much look at because it puts money in our pocket because of the accounts receivable. So if TCM took over September 1st, we would get all the accounts receivable from August, July, and June. That could be anywhere from 1.2 to 1.5 million.
Is this direct to the motion?
Yeah, this is directed to the motion.
It does.
So.
It's a separate thing entirely.
No, it's going to his argument for supporting the nursing home, I believe.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Mr. Hadley.
Thank you, Chairman Helms. So we need to be looking at alternatives too, just not one proposal. And, you know, here's a company that believes in our county nursing home, and believes that they can turn a profit and that they want to even reduce our levy, you know, in 26 to 400,000, in 28 to 300,000, in 2030 to 250,000. They are taking all the risk. We're not taking any risk. And guess what? At the end of the day, we still own the nursing home that is very much valuable to the community. And I believe that we need to continue to look at alternatives and look at the big cost and the big elephant in the room, that this could cost us way more money. And the company should be looking at things with the solar field, the generator. We're not going to be completely out of debt when they hand us that check for $1.5 million. But we sure could be possibly out of debt with a different proposal from TCM. Thank you very much, citizens of Stephenson County and board members, for letting me speak.
All right. Mr. Whalen for a second time.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. To address a couple of the other questions earlier, I would just ask, what is Medicaid and where does it come from? What is Medicaid and where does it come from? Are we all paying for that? So are we all in fact supporting Medicaid beds at these nursing homes? Just a point. And they all have them. Check every nursing home within a half-hour drive. Every one of them's got them. A referendum sounds like a beautiful idea, and 99% of the time I would probably be all for it. But after having worked on this committee for the last couple of years, I would have had no clue. If somebody would have presented me a referendum, well, yeah, it sounds like a great idea. Let's take care of our old folks. And 90% of the people in this county would have no idea what that really means. And you can laugh all you want about that statement, but it's true. People are living their lives. They voted for us to handle these things. Right? We all receive votes. We're all given a mandate to represent our constituents, some of which are not going to agree with us. I get that. That's part of the job. And any of my constituents are free to call me anytime. My number's on the website. I typically answer emails too. I haven't in this case in the last few days because I'm frankly tired of this issue. It's like beating a dead horse over and over and over again. It comes back and it keeps coming back. Why is that? How is it ever going to change, folks? Yeah, we could try this. Let's try TCM again. Well, how well did that work out the last time? Again, I'm not trying to disparage them. They may have great intentions. It's a tough business. It's not one we should be in anymore as a county. As far as the money, why didn't we throw more money at it? Well, it has to come from somewhere. Where does it come from? Where else would we have taken money? We either charge the taxpayers more, which is what I heard discussed a minute ago, or we have to move it from another fund. We took some money out of IRF last year just to make budget work with all the requests that we have for statutory things that we have to do, right? This is, again, I remind everybody on this board, this is not a statutory requirement. It's something the citizens of this county voted for many years ago. I agree with that, and I respectfully, Mr. Newton, I appreciate that thought. And again, normally I would support that, but with the complexity of this business, I don't think enough people would engage in the actual process of understanding it. I heard many people tonight talk about how profitable this thing has been the last couple of years, and objectively, if you look at the numbers, that is not the case. If anybody gets into these numbers, you can see that. It's not hard. If you need help, I'll explain it to you. So, and I respectfully, Mr. Hadley's been on this board a lot longer than I have. I respect his opinion on things. I inherently disagree with this. We've tried this route before, and no matter what this agreement is that this other company has put forward, it's just another Band-Aid approach. It may sound good, just like this offer of intent sounds good. But at some point, guys, we got to be adults and go, what really makes the most sense for the folks that live there and work there? I've heard it said that for-profit companies are never good. It makes it sound like they all are horrible. well, how is that possible? How are they still in business, most of them, if they're so evil and so bad? And none of them take care of their residents. Are they all, evil places that just people send their relatives to die? Come on, that's not realistic. Why is it in the state of Illinois, it used to have, probably 50, 60 homes, and they're down to I think it's about 16 public homes? Why is that? Help me understand that one. Again, I don't know all the numbers. I had the numbers in front of me at one point. But again, please, folks, think through this issue objectively. I've gotten emotional about it before, and I want to apologize to Mr. Hadley. I've said things to him I shouldn't have said. I've said things to Mrs. Koss I shouldn't have said. Because I get, it gets me worked up because I realize, it's a tough thing. People get emotional about their relatives and about family, and it's something that's very important to this community. I get that. But at the end of the day, if we could try and do something to let somebody else take over in September, if there's still something there in September, look at the numbers, people. It's not going to last that long at the current rate. So please think about it. I will be voting for this proposal.
Mr. Jogers, go ahead.
I'm going to be voting yes on this proposal. When I started thinking about running for the county board, I asked several former members of the board, what was the biggest issue? They told me the nursing home. I'm like, really? So once I got on the board, I started listening and going to the meetings, and sure enough, the nursing home was the biggest issue. So within that time, 2021, I wrote an article. 2023, I wrote another article. Everything, I went back and looked lately. None of those facts that I wrote in those articles have changed. Nothing's changed. If you think about what the root cause of the issue here is, there's a couple. And that's the way I think as an engineer. One is we're dealing with a non-mandated function here that we shouldn't even be involved in. And the other is the way the structure of that nursing home is, the way we have it currently, it's non-profitable. I don't care, you can fudge the numbers or count the AR out there and think that's in the bank. No, that's not in the bank until it is in the bank. So I do think if we would have listened and got rid of this thing years ago, we'd be in better shape. But many years ago, I think the establishing a nursing home was right and compassionate thing to do when there was no other entity available to meet that need. And that is why our ancestors chose to choose a nursing home. I'm sure they didn't intend for us to hide our heads in the sand and ignore changes in this healthcare sector. But like most temporary government solutions, it has become a sacred monument. The other thing that we're forgetting about here we are totally forgetting about the other 8 private nursing homes in the area and all those residents. The county is subsidizing this county board, and this county is subsidizing one nursing home out of all these in the area. That is doing harm to these private entities. That is not fair. That does not create a level playing field for any of these nursing homes in the area, and it makes it very hard for them to compete. Government oversight for regulation and to avoid abuses is definitely needed, but interference in the business segment never ends well. If you just look, you will see the messes that government interference causes in so many areas of our society. Financial markets, housing, energy, and education. Ronald Reagan famously said, "I've always felt the 9 most terrifying words in the English language are, I'm from the government and I'm here to help." I clearly see all the fear being spread by the opponents of this sale, scaring the residents and gaslighting the public saying it's financially sound, which it is not. It never has been. Back when it was supposedly making money, that's when they were overcharging the state and they had to pay it all, bunch of that back. so it's never been viable. Now is the perfect time to sell it to the perfect type of company for a fair price and terms. Let's quit kicking the can down the road and level the playing field for all the other nursing homes and their residents. We are not abandoning them, but setting them free. Medicare and Medicaid subsidies will still continue. That's our tax dollars. There is a great local team out there at that nursing home to work with Serenity. Together, they can turn it around. We don't have to be involved. This county should hand over the keys and forever get out of the way. So stop the fear and have some faith. Thank you.
Mrs. Hayes.
Thank you, Chairman. I just need a little clarification from Mr. Hadley. You had mentioned that there was another proposal on the table. Mr. Hadley, I'm not aware of another proposal to purchase the nursing home. Can you please elaborate on that?
I think what I'll do, and Mr. Hadley, I'll give you a chance to respond, but there was 2 responses to the RFQ for purchase of the nursing home. There was one that was not for purchase. It was merely to manage.
And that was from TCM?
That was.
And is that the same TCM that walked out on us last summer and demanded to be paid?
Mr. Hadley, did you want to address her question?
Yes. Well, number one, they never walked out on us, and they wanted to be paid like anybody else would like to be paid if they do business with the county. So that's very appalling that you would say something like that. But no, they sent in this proposal, but it wasn't for buying the nursing home. They're just giving us an alternative that where we could walk away with money in our pocket and still own the nursing home. So that's it. Thank you very much, Chairman.
You're welcome. Anything else, Mrs. Hayes?
No, thank you, Chairman.
Mr. Newton for a second time.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. There's a lot of truth in everything that's being said in the room. There's a lot of intelligent people, or you wouldn't be on the board. When I look around, I see people of different backgrounds and different occupations, all with a lot of knowledge about a lot of things. And our discussion all year long it's been pretty good. We're a board that have made decisions, might have been different, might not see things the same way, but we make those decisions. And so, Mr. Chairman, if you don't mind, if I am the last person, I'm going to call for the question. I just think that we've talked about it enough and decisions can be made based on the discussions that have been had. Thank you.
There is no one else in the queue. I did want to read a letter from CMS that I was provided today.
You're the chairman, so go right ahead.
Well, are you making a motion to call the question?
I am if there's somebody behind me, but not if you're the only one.
All right, thank you. I received a notification today as County Board Chairman. I am the registered agent for the nursing home. It was from Centers for Medicare and Medicaid, otherwise known as CMS. I'm going to briefly read what it says. We have not received the cost report for Stephenson Nursing Center, provider number 145895 for the period ending December 31st, 2024. Under Title 42 Code of Federal Regulations, cost reports are due by the last day of the 5th month following the close of the provider's cost report year or 30 days after receipt of valid provider statistical and reimbursement reports from the contractor, whichever is later. Your report is now late as it was due June 2nd, 2025. Deemed overpayment. As a cost report has not been received from your facility, all interim and lump sum payments made for the fiscal period noted above are deemed overpayment. The principal amount of the overpayment related to this fiscal period is $453,893. If you do not submit a cost report, please be advised this letter constitutes Federal Claims Collection Act. Notification that this amount is now due and must be remitted to us within 30 days from the date of this letter. Now, I received this today. The date of the letter is June 9th. Let me back up here. 30 days. Interest will be assessed on any portion of the amount that is not paid timely in accordance with Title 42 at a rate of 11.625%. Suspension. As your cost report has not been received timely, all payments to your facility have now been suspended under the authority of Title 42, Section 405.371D. Payments will not be resumed until an acceptable cost report is received by us. Now, again, I just received this today. I am understanding that our administrator is working to correct this, but I'm also understanding that this should have been reported when we had a management company in place that was here until January 17th. I'm not pointing fingers at anyone. I am merely reporting what I have. If anyone would like a copy of this letter, I do have copies for everyone. But as of right now, we're not going to be getting any Medicare payments until that cost report is completed. And our administrator is working diligently to get that corrected, I'm being told, thankfully. So hopefully that is a short amount of time. So for people that are constantly telling me that this is a manufactured crisis, couldn't be further from the truth. Food services are due over $402,000. That means they provided food to our residents, and they are still owed $402,000. Staffing agencies, over $450,000. 2 staffing agencies. Yet does anyone know what our payroll has been for the first 5 or 6 months? $1.485 million. There is one CNA that works out there that's going to clear 6 figures easily this year by picking up additional shifts and qualifying for the bonuses of the collective bargaining agreement. It's all public information, folks. Matrix, our billing company, if you recall, the contract that we approved is they are billing every 30 days and they'll be paid every 30 days. They haven't been paid a penny yet. You get a report from the treasurer every single day on the outstanding debts, over $1.8 million. Mr. Newton, do you want to call the question?
Please.
Mr. Newton has made a motion to call the question, seconded. Is there a vote required for calling the question? I didn't think there was.
No, I think it's a 2/3 actually.
Okay. Mr. Louie, would you please prepare the vote for calling the question?
Point of order, Mr. Chairman.
Yes.
Is that necessary if there's no other discussion?
That's up to Mr. Newton and Mr. Whalen.
There is no other,
All right.
there's no other discussion, we can carry on with the motion.
Very good. So the motion on the floor is to accept the letter of intent from Serenity Estates. Mr. Louie, please initiate the vote. So there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 for approving the motion. The motion passes. The no votes were Bush, Hadley, Modero, Newton, and Williams. Anything else out of your committee, Mrs. Baker?
Yes.
Let me press your button, please. Go
As
ahead.
you all heard, Matrix Care did submit their 12-month project for the AR cleanup. That total write-off amount that will be coming down the line is $327,436.13. And as of today, census is 45. And that is all I have.
All right, thank you. We'll move on to planning and development. Mr. Frick, you have 3 action items.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The first 2 items are related, but we'll handle them one at a time. First item is approval of the resolution to authorize an amendment to the intergovernmental agreement for the operation of an enterprise zone. This has to do with Stephenson Cheese out on Route 20 West, and they're looking to include, and it should have been included because their property is already within the enterprise zone. They just want to add some acreage around their facility for the enterprise zone to include. Motion to approve.
Motion by Mr. Frick. Is there a second? By Mr. Diddens. Any discussion? Seeing none, Mr. Louie, please prepare the report of the vote. I apologize. That passes unanimously. Your second item, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The second item is an ordinance amending the boundaries of the joint Northwest Illinois Certified Enterprise Zone, again for Savencia, because of the amendment we just made. They're looking to expand their facility to the tune of about $7 million and 42 employees. Motion to approve.
Motion by Mr. Frick. Is there a second? By Mr. Jogerst. Any discussion? Seeing none, Mr. Louie, would you please prepare the vote? That also passes unanimously. Your final item, please.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The last item is approval of quitclaim deeds for 2 parcels of property that are part of the Freeport landfill, that when the landfill closed, there was a reverter clause put into that deed that the property came back to the county. We are going to give that back to the city. This quitclaim deed extinguishes those reverter clauses. Motion to approve.
Motion by Mr. Frick. Is there a second? Second by Mr. Diddens. Is there any discussion? Mr. Hadley, I need you to press your button again, please. Go ahead, sir.
Okay. Mr. Frick, I thought we've been through this already once. We passed this back in
2023.
Yeah. Why? What's the difference of passing it and what's going on now?
This is just extinguishing that reverter clause.
Okay. I thought we were doing that the first time around, so.
Mr. Frick, would you be okay if the state's attorney who has reviewed
Sure,
this?
that'd be fine.
answer that?
So, you're right, Mr. Hadley. We passed quitclaim deeds on the identical properties before. And for anybody who doesn't remember, there's a solar company that wants to put solar panels on top of the kind of decommissioned landfill. We previously agreed that they could do that. We issued quitclaim deeds. The city did what they needed to do. And then when the solar company went out for financing, the financing company wanted the quitclaim deeds to have slightly different language. So these quitclaim deeds represent slightly different language to do the same thing that we've done before so that this solar company can gather the financing they need to do their project.
Yeah, previously I did not support this, but I'm not going to argue this point and support it. I mean, this would have been reverted back to the county and we could have made some money out of this deal. But I'm going to support it this time. Thank you.
Anything else? Seeing that there is no one else, Mr. Louie, please prepare the vote. That passes unanimously. Anything else out of your committee, Mr. Frick?
Not at this time or hour. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
All right, thank you, Mr. Frick. We'll move on to Public Works. Mr. Brandt, no action items. Any information out of your committee?
No, Mr. Chairman, thank you.
All right, so before I ask for an adjournment, does everyone feel that, oh, Mr. Hadley, did you have something?
Yeah, we used to always have new business where some board members can bring some things up, but was that deleted on purpose or by accident or?
No, it was not intentional. We'll make sure it's back on. Do you have something you want to talk about
No,
now?
I was just wondering, you know.
I've made myself a note. We'll make sure it's back on.
Okay, thank you.
Does everyone feel that the time they were given to vote was sufficient? Does anyone, I guess I should ask, does anyone not feel they had sufficient time to vote?
Was it really 10 seconds?
That's what the clock was saying as it was ticking down across the screen. I was too concerned about making sure I pressed the right button.
I think we need to ask Nate to add the Jeopardy thing.
All right, is there a motion to adjourn?
Mr. Bush.
Oh, go ahead, Mr. Hadley.
Your question is, I think I missed the vote accidentally, you know, so I don't know. So, I mean, it was an accident.
I didn't see that, but we'll check. But you'll still be paid a per diem even if you did miss one. That's fine. Sure.
So moved.
Motion to adjourn by Mr. Bush. Is there a second? By Mrs. Hayes. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Thank you, everyone.
Another smooth meeting.